This is the second race in the second round of the newest One Make series in Aussie motor racing, and the points leader Cameron Hill won yesterday's first race, so he starts from pole position. Alongside me is Tony D'Alberto, DJR Team Penske's Enduro driver, alongside Scott Pye. Hopefully you can bring him some better luck for later on in the season, but this race is packed with cars, 36 on the grid, but it's the young guys who are really showing the way at the front of this field. As we get set now for a start, Cam Hill in 111, the red Toyota on pole. Alongside is Will Brown in the silver car. Away in racing, second row of the grid is Aaron Seaton and Tim Brook. We're off and running to turn one, and for about the first time all year, Cameron Hill has been topped on the run to the first corner, and it's young Will Brown from Toowoomba who leads the way.
Absolutely there. Cameron didn't quite get the start. This is the first time he's actually followed another car, so great start by Will Brown. And around the outside, Tim Brook now is trying to get around in turn two. He tried that yesterday as well, but didn't quite make it happen. Plenty of cars using the concrete on the exit, or the middle of the corner there at turn two, all behaving themselves right now. Jump on board with Steve Owen.
We've got three invited drivers in the field this weekend, and they're all running together. We're with Steve Owen. That's Dean Canto to the left. Cam McConville is just in front in car number 8. He's done the quick dash from the commentary box to jump behind the wheel. These boys are side by side for 3 corners. Good stuff.
Steve Owen yesterday, he started 25th and got himself all the way up to, I think, P12. So he made a lot of progress. So it'll be interesting to see whether he can continue that progress and make his way through.
Luke King and Ben Grice there fighting. They went side by side to the line yesterday at the end of the race, and Grice had a bit of contact that folded in the exhaust and just knocked a little bit of power out of his car, but he's out through the grass there. That's not the fast way through turn 7. But everyone's got the same car, the little Toyota 86, that 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, about 179 kilowatts, 6-speed gearbox. On board with Dean Canto, of course, he teams up with Mark Winterbottom at Sandown, Bathurst and the Gold Coast, and he's right on the fringe of the top 10 here. That's Jake Klein right in front in car 6. Another of the young guns from Victoria who have really stepped into this category. Look at Will Brown. He knows that Cam Hill's got a run on him, and he's going to have to cover to turn 1.
Yeah, he's being very defensive down the inside there, but he's made the one move to the inside, so that'll be okay. He's going to hold his line into turn 1, but he has compromised his entry to turn 1, so it will be interesting to see there if Cameron can switch back now and try and get down the inside. He looks like he's going to have a crack. No, he needs to block for Tim Brook. David Cedars there in P4. It's going very well. Ooh,
one off. That's Callum Jones in the number 47 car. That's turn 1. He's kept the throttle nailed and managed to get through the gravel just. He'll make it out and get back in the race.
I'd like to see a replay of that one. Who have we got here?
That's Luke King and Dean Canto side by side. So Dean's just been side by side with somebody for pretty much the whole race so far. He's on the inside for the next corner and get that job done. That's for position 9.
How cool is that camera?
It's catching all the action. Will Brown's having to be really defensive here. Trent Grubel trying to get a move down on Steve Owen. He won't get the spot there. Steve's up over the curb. It's side by side up to the hill. They're swarming all over one another, and this is just outside the top 10 for positions pretty much 11 to 16 or 17, all within about 20 metres of road.
Yeah, some great racing here, side by side. Everyone giving each other that little bit of room. On board now with Cameron McConville. He's been a busy boy this weekend, but I tell you what, he's been having a lot of fun in these cars. Really close racing. Drove
a Ferrari in the GT Enduro yesterday. He's been in our commentary box here for our coverage, and he's fighting here with Baxter-Smith, who's not going to give it away, who's going to stay on the outside. But the problem is that leaves the door open for Cameron Crick to attack, and it lets McConville off the leash.
These cars don't have a heap of power, so keeping a bit of mid-corner speed up is the right way to go there. Cameron Hill trying to get around Will Brown. Will's just holding his line the inside, making it very difficult.
And Hill looks way quicker, but he just can't find the room. And if he goes searching down the outside, the door will be open for Tim Brook, who this time decides to go all the way around at turn 2 because it's the inside for turn 3. If he can pull this off, that is a really good move, but he hasn't quite been able to do it. And what it's done, it's let Will Brown get away.
Yeah, Tim Brook, every lap he's tried that same manoeuvre, so hopefully it'll actually pay off for him.
Cedars and Seaton, they were rubbing doors there, and now Josh Hunter gets through, but Seaton zaps back the other way. Ben Grice gets on the scene as well.
You can see when they sort of have a bit of a mingle mid-corner, it wrecks their momentum, and then they're very vulnerable to the car behind. Let's have a look at this replay now of turn 1.
Oh, this was Callum Jones having the big lose, lost the rear in the Enzotech car on the way in. And this
wonder
went
if he
for a
got
while.
any help there, because he was definitely lost the rear of the car and just snapped back on him. And a very high-speed part of the track. Cameron McConville now looks like he's got a problem with his car. That's unfortunate for him. I wonder what's happened. He's trying to stay out of the way. Interesting race line.
No, there's no racing going on there. It's just getting out of the way. That's a real shame. Cam's had a great pile of fun. Steve Owen and Luke King side by side. There's been more side-by-side racing in this race than we've had in a range of other ones. It's a really good track for these cars because there's a bit of constant radius corner stuff to really get rolling through, and they can run side by side. Will Brown, though, that margin that he had over Cameron Hill is gone within the lap because now Cam's back on him, but he doesn't have to run down the inside this time when they get to turn 1.
Yeah, it's a fine balance between trying to protect your line and protect your position, but also still be having the ideal line to try and maximise the pace that you have. So Cameron Hill at the moment looks like the guy that has a little bit more speed than the others, but he's still got to get around Will Brown, and that's going to be the hard task for this race.
Will Brown with experience in Formula 4, Formula Ford, karting. He's a young guy from up Toowoomba, up Will Power's way in Queensland. He works in a family car dealership, but on weekends he goes racing. Kane Baxter-Smith here. That's Drew Ridge, the number 4 yellow car that we saw have a huge lose yesterday at turn 1. Now he's out in the grass. It's almost Van Gisbergen style. You don't need to cool the tyres. It's not wet today.
These guys are having a lot of fun. We've got some great drivers out there this weekend and running side by side, giving each other a lot of room and respect. They're not really respecting those track limits though on the exit. Goodacre there trying to force the issue with Ridge, but he options out of it.
Now earlier in the weekend, Tony, on Friday, we actually had qualifying. Yesterday, I should say, Frank Meza test start. Had a drama, went off the wall, had heavy contact. Unfortunately, he's out for the weekend. He's okay. And this was what unfolded. He just got a small tap from John Iafolder. Unfortunately, the Virgin Australia car ended up in the wall and is out for the weekend. Back to the race here in race 2, and these top 4 of the class of the field. In fact, Ben Grice is just starting to tag onto the back of the leading pack. Dean Canto here sits position number 9.
Let's go on board with him down the straight here. A little bit different to what he's used to with a H-pattern gearbox. He's actually got to use the clutch there as well. Very, very standard sort of road car sort of spec. See how he approaches turn 1 there. A little bit of a lift. Car's moving around, gets back on the gas to settle the car and keep that momentum going. He's got a bit of a run here.
Whoa, Tim Brooks going loud and large at turn 2. It's not going to work, quite simply. Aaron Seaton grabs 3rd spot.
Hey, you got to give it a crack, and he tried lap after lap to try and make it happen. He's gone a little bit deeper this time, and unfortunately lost a position. So he'll make it back up though. What I love seeing on the screen though is names like Seaton, Grice. It's so cool to see them racing together now.
Thought I was back in the Group A touring
yeah,
car
absolutely.
days. Of course, Ben Grice, the son of Alan, who is here this weekend, a 2-time Bathurst 1000 winner. Aaron has got his dad, Glenn, the Hall of Fame, on the headset for him after Glenn was behind the wheel in one of our invited cars at the first round at Winton.
Can you imagine the conversation?
I said, Aaron, what would you rather, race him on the track or have him in your ear during the race? He said, oh, either way, it's all a bit of fun. So he's right among it, though, here because he's sitting 3rd, right behind Cam Hill, right behind Will Brown. Top 5 just have got away from David Cedars in that number 3 orange and white Toyota.
Have a look at this.
It's hard to know where to look, isn't it? Look at this.
Oh,
Goodacre with a move.
Just stuck his nose down the inside there, and if he gets a good exit, he'll make that position. Baxter-Smith, though, still holding out on the outside. He'll be pretty brave to run around the outside, this right-hander here. Gives him a bit of a nudge. He's trying to... No, he's going to back out of it. Good racing there. Everyone's reasonably clean.
And now Nick Filippetto's trying to work his way down the inside and get a move. So half race distance in the second race of the weekend, and the fight at the front is back on. That margin that Will Brown had is gone, and Cam Hill is trying to go hunting. But Aaron Seaton's trying to set up a move down the inside that Cam is awake up to. He'll cover that one. Tim Brook must have the bravest pills that he's had for breakfast this morning, because every time at turn 2, he's not afraid to go looking down that outside. And now, though, Ben Grice is going to get a run on the exit of 4, down the inside, over the hill where the entrance tunnel is here to Sydney Motorsport Park, to the infield, and Grice will get that spot.
As frustrating it is for Tim, you know, the outside manoeuvre isn't quite working at the moment. He's losing more spots than he's gaining, so might have to reassess where he can get past some of these guys, because he's got plenty of speed, but just being maybe a little bit too... Here we go, go on board with Canto.
He's been working on Jake Klein for a couple of laps. He's got Dylan Gulson helping him along, but he won't be able to get the move done there. Steve Owens at the back of this little pack. We'll see Steve in action with Chaz Mostert at Sandown Bathurst and the Gold Coast in the Super Cheap Auto Falcon. Right now, though, he's got to figure out who to go with here. Oh, don't go the grass.
A bit of tyre screech there, trying to get the car turned.
And that tyre, you can hear, it's a Dunlop, but it's not a slick racing tyre like Supercars or Carrera Cup or the like. It's a groove tyre, so they haven't over-gripped these cars. You can slide them a little bit. You can still really hustle. Ooh, this is close. Good racing room there shown by the guys, but the door's open. Steve will walk straight by Trent Grubel, who cannot stop the 36 car from getting that spot. And that's the great thing about these invited drivers. They're here to race. They're here to race for the win, for the top 5, for the top 3, whatever they can achieve. But they're here to help coach these guys as well. And Cam Hill now, the championship leader, down the inside at turn 1 on Will Brown. And you can bet he'll park it down the inside to make it really tricky here. For the rest, 3 wide for a moment. Seaton and Grice getting together. It's 2 by 2. Seaton's going the long way around. Brooks sliding behind. Cam Hill's got clear air in front. If they all start fighting like this, he's going to get away. Seaton's going for it too.
Young Cito there, just a bit of rubbings racing, but a great manoeuvre there, and Will Brown is going to find himself back in P3 in a second, I think. Oh, he's holding around the outside. It's a great thing about this category.
Oh, he's going to stay there for a moment, but then he has to lift. It'll slow him up coming up the hill. And he knows it too, because Tim Brook's going to dive to the inside. Ben Grice will go the outside. Oh, keep it in a straight line here. David Cedars tries to get down the inside as well. He's over the curb on 2 wheels. All of this, though, has let Hill off the hook and Seaton off the hook, P1 and 2.
Yeah, mate, I think you need to take a bit of a breath there. I'll take over for a second. This racing is unbelievable. Now we've got a solid pack of probably about 6 cars, 7 cars, all going for that win. But now Cameron Hill's in the lead. Let's see if he can stretch his legs like he has every other race. Brown still going with Brook.
Not now. He's got him, and now Grice will try. And he's on the inside for the next corner. And Brown knows that he has to slot in to cover off Josh Hunter. Now he's back down the inside because Grice went wide into the next corner. So the Cars Galore Toyota gets a spot back, but he's gone from being the leader to 4th, all in the space of about 3.9 kilometres.
How good was that? That was 1 lap of racing there, and we had probably 5 or 6 changes for position. Got Will Brown trying to get a slipstream on Tim Brook. Meanwhile, though, the guys at the front there, because they're not fighting, they've been able to clear out quite a bit in that 1 lap. So here we go. It's getting pretty aggressive.
There's 100 championship points on the line for the win in each of the Toyota 86 Racing Series races. It's a 5-round series. This is round 2. And the Toyota drivers will be with us for Sandown, Bathurst, and also Sydney Olympic Park to round out the season. So it's a busy back end of the championship. If you're in a red car at the moment, it's good news, because Cam Hill and Aaron Seaton have cleared away by a long distance. That's a big margin. Will Brown now is heading up a queue of at least 10 cars. Replay at turn 1, John Ifola with some damage already, and he won't improve it out there.
That's a high speed off there. Now I'm just noticing Aaron Seaton has just put in the fastest lap of the race, so he's got a lot of speed on board. Already brought in Cameron Hill, so you know, I don't think Hill's going to have it all his own way here. This race, though, just keeps going on and on. Unfortunately, Brooks dropped back a couple more than what he'd like.
That's Josh Hunter in the number 2 Castrol car that's gone by. It's one of the 4 cars from the Brian Hinton team. Back on board with Dean Canto, who's just decided to take up gardening for a moment.
He's in this lead group as well, so it's all happening here with all that jostling at the front, slowed the pack up a bit and meant that these guys could catch back up and get involved in this fun little battle. A little bit of damage there on the car in front, a bit of smoke coming off the front.
David Cedars, that left front, oh boy, he's out really wide there in the dirt.
Dean might be able to get a run on him here.
Just adjusts the mirror to see what's behind.
Just checking his hair in the mirror.
Leave the gags to other people, please, Tony.
Sorry, mate, sorry.
This is a good close fight too, because this is Jake Klein in car 6, the young Victorian, Trent Gruber. So there's a range of young drivers who you might not have heard of before, who've come from State Series racing, from karts, from club motorsport of various disciplines. And they've all stepped it up into this category where everyone's got the same Toyota 86 to play with. You can adjust the odd little thing here or there, but by and large it comes back to the guy who's steering and pushing the pedals.
That's what's fantastic about this category. You know, you got all these cars very, very similar. Comes down to a bit of driving style, what you're used to. And we're seeing the guys that have done a little bit of Formula Ford, Formula V, where you've got to keep a bit of momentum in the corner going. They're the ones to catch here. So it's not an easy task for some of these professional drivers coming in just for the weekend and going racing. Bryce there, just making it a little bit hard for Baxter. Or Hunter, I should say.
Hunter's trying to get the inside line for the run through Corporate Hill. He's got the line, but does he have the next corner? He's going to give Ben a bit of road to play with here, and they'll continue to fight on. This is the fight for position 4. I love how Ben's got there Gricey across the windscreen strip. It takes you right back. It's the same font, the same colour as Alan used to run on the old Tiranas and Commodores and the like. And he's got a bit of his old man and his driving style. He does get on with it, does young Ben.
Definitely having a good old crack. It's great to see. Someone just have a spin there. Let's go on board now with Stevie O. Geez, they're running each other out of room there, and Steve's benefited from that massively. You see, as soon as you lose that little bit of momentum, check out this replay here. What are we watching?
Oh, John Iofola, who we saw off the road before, down turn 1, has a lock-up at turn 8. A couple of laps to go. Cam Hill leads the way by 6/10 over Aaron Seaton, who that last time around they pretty much set the same lap time. Will Brown is 3rd, and this is the fight for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. It's quite good too, by the way.
Absolutely. We're just seeing these cars rubbing doors, going side by side. They're giving each other enough racing room, but only just.
No, it's been a really good race. Thoroughly enjoying this. If we can get more of this going on for the rest of the championship, we'll have a very good year of Toyota 86 racing. Look at Dean, he's looking to the left. Is anyone up there? Is anyone trying to sneak down the inside?
Dino there giving us a little wave. All right, what's happening here? But Grice, he's still trying to get his way through the field as much as he can. Dave Cedars there, he's made a few spots. He wasn't really in this battle, and through some of the guys jostling hard for position, he's managed to make his way through, get himself back up to P5.
Oh, Hunter locked the right front down to the hairpin. That opens the door for Ben Grice to sneak by. Oh, now, who blinks first? Because it's a left-hander that comes after this right-hander.
If you can hang around the outside here, you've got the ideal line for the left-hander, but you've got to be careful not to overcook it so they can't get it back up the inside here into this final little section here. You see Steve, he's trying to work out what's happening in front of him there so he can pounce and try and make a position himself. Again, this race he's moved up the grid, managed to make a few spots. Not quite as many as last time, but he's got to the business end of the field this time. On
the right is Dean Canto. On the left is Steve Owen, who's right behind him. Look at that bonnet on Dino's cards. Just starting to flap up there. It's getting a little bit of air under there at turn 1. Just starting to come slightly adrift. Bouncing around in the turbulence that's coming up from the other cars. 3 wide behind. It's really getting serious with 2 laps to go at Sydney Motorsport Park. They are all over one another here. Steve Owens pounced and got Dean Canto.
Dino will be spewing with that. He was a lead pro driver there for much of the weekend.
front. Cam Hill continues to lead the margin, I should say, to Aaron Seaton. There it is, 6/10. Will Brown, 2.5 seconds.
You can see
back
how
from the lead.
How much they've cleared out.
Yeah, but this fight back here is the really good fight between Hunter, 6th, right back to Drew Ridge, who is 13th in the yellow car. Pick the smallest blanket you've got, throw it over them, and you'd get them all in there. Now, though, Jake Klein's off the road. Small little mistake. You make a small mistake, has a big consequence, because you just can't get the momentum up and running, and the rest of them fire on by.
This has been a great race, same as race 1. Plenty of battles up and down the field. But this one seems to have tightened or bunched the field up a little bit more. Replay here of turn 1. Check out what happens. Oh, big spin there.
I was about to say, whatever it is, it's going to be fast. And it's Chris Manley who's gone backwards off the road, not made it to the gravel.
I've seen a lot of cars go off at turn 1 there, so maybe these cars moving around a little bit. They're trying to explore the limits of the grip level.
Talk about limits. Look at this. It's 2x2. It's slipstream racing down the front straight. On board with Canto, and he's pushing Steve Owen, and he's missed a gear out of it all as well.
I think he got a bit excited doing the bump and run.
Thought he was at Talladega. Great racing. This has been really good stuff. It's the last lap of race 2 of the Toyota 86s at Sydney Motorsport Park. Who's got the big brakes at turn 2? Ben Grice is in really deep. Hunter locks it up. He's going to be wide. He should be able to drive it straight, though, off that corner and hold off Trent Grubel in that black 74 car.
Canto's made another position, so up to position 8 now. You can see a little bit of experience coming into play there. Hill, though, still leading the race, but coming under pressure from Aaron. I was going to say Glenn Seaton then. Aaron Seaton on the final lap, but he has to make up a little bit of ground there before he sort of can make a move.
He got to that point, but it's been like a big brick fence. He hasn't been able to get any further. He's been nibbling a 10th, less than a 10th every time, and it's not enough to get up onto the back bumper bar of the Illawarra Toyota car. There is a lap car ahead, but it's going to step out of the way for this run to the flag. So Cam Hill is on target to keep his unbroken, unbeaten streak alive. He won 3 out of 3 at Winton. He won race 1 yesterday. They're going to have to step it up here, and they got the jump on him in this race, but they weren't able to keep him behind. He's going to bring it home and win again.
Well, that's what I like about this particular race here. He didn't have it all to himself. We've seen Aaron Seaton come through. Will Brown put up a really big fight. But again, Cameron Hill takes the win. That's 5 out of 5.
It's 500 points. That's what it is too. 100 for each win. Cam Hill wins race 2 in Sydney. Seaton second from Brown. Tim Brook will be next. Owen and Canto. Dino's going to get it, and he loves it too.
Dino's pretty excited there.
Position 7. I've never seen anyone as excited finishing 7. Good stuff. That was a damn good motor race. I don't care if you're a supercar fan, you like big cars, small cars, one make series. That was really good.
Was that a smile on Stevie O's face? I think he's having a bit of fun there.
A bit of emotion from Steve O. He's usually pretty straight, pretty simple, keeps it very low key.
Look at Dino.
But I reckon even Steve would have been grinning after that, because that was good fun.
You got to remember, these guys drive some awesome cars in lots of different cool categories.
But they're all racers.
See a smile like that on their face?
Yeah.
It's great to see.
They're all racers at heart. They love it. We've got one more race to come this afternoon. Let's recap how they finished in race 2. Cam Hill, the winner, half a second back to Aaron Seaton. Then Will Brown, Tim Brook, the last of the late breakers at turn 2.
Certainly was.
Dave Cedars, Benny Griceton, Canto, Steve Owen, Trent Grubel. And Dylan Gulson rounded out the top 10. Looking back, Josh Hunter, he got shuffled back to position 12. He was up in the top 5 or 6 there for a while, but such is the nature of Toyota 86 racing. Callum Jones had a trip off the road or two in position 30.